Welcome to my 2023 rookie running back ranking video. We did the wide receivers already, link in description. Now we're talking RBs. And this class right here is all about the running backs. The wide receiver class doesn't hold a candle to the 2022 wide receiver class. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Garrett Wilson, Olave, Christian Watson, Drake London, Pickens. I'm telling you, that wide receiver class is off the hook. You know, you've seen my Moon Men list. I love Jackson Smith and Jigba. I love Zay Flowers. I really like Addison and Johnston. They're good wide receivers. This class will probably produce at least one or two top 15 wide receivers, but the 2022 class is special from a wide receiver perspective and a running back perspective, giving us Breece Hall and Kenny Walker. Mashed potatoes! Dare I say that the running back class in 2023 is better than the 2022 running back class. This class is all about the RB. RBs, we got the running backs, baby. My number one rookie running back in 2023. No. My number one overall running back in all of fantasy football 2023 go forward. Dynasty running back one, including every running back already in the NFL and in fantasy football. My number one overall player, potentially in dynasty startups, with every player included, is
Bijan Robinson.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.
This guy does it all. He has it all. You've heard it all before. The next LaDainian Tomlinson, the next Adrian Peterson, the next whatever you want to say. He's the best thing since Barkley coming out of college. It's all true. 1580 is what Bijan ran on the ground in 2022. 6.1 a pop, 18 TDs, 19 receptions, 314, and 2 scores in the air. Really good. That's a really good line. Year prior, 1127, 11 TDs, pulled in 4 receiving TDs, 295. Guy can catch. His combine's going to be amazing. His work ethic is unmatched. He's already out there. There's footage of this guy looking like an absolute monster, just pile driving through dummies, tackle dummies, and looking like he's working out harder than ever. He looks aggressive. He looks tough. He looks motivated. He's trying to earn himself top 15 overall draft value, and I think he's going to get there. I think his combine and his workouts make him stand out in a way that nobody's going to want to play chicken with how late to let him fall. Nobody go after an RB. Let's let him fall. Somebody's going to go, no. No. This is a franchise generational talent that we need to roster on our team. This whole thing of there are no more workhorses.
That is cap.
He is a workhorse. He's an every down back, and he's a 1,500 yard rusher at the NFL level. Maybe right away. He's a 12 to 15 touchdown running back right away. As a rookie, he could easily pull in 35 to 40 receptions or more for 350, 400 receiving yards and a couple touchdowns right away. He's also protected into one of the better potential landing spots in fantasy football 2023, because you look at all the teams that are drafting early that need an RB. They're all good situations, and any team that doesn't have a direct, dire need for an RB isn't going to be wasting the draft capital that Bijan's going to command over the other RBs in the class, who are going to fall to the normal late first round, maybe second round territory. Not Bijan. Bijan's different. Bijan's being looked at different. He's an outlier. And if he goes to the Raiders, if they don't franchise tag Josh Jacobs, if he goes to the Falcons, the Panthers, the Eagles will be absolutely insane. The Houston Texans will look at him, even though they have Dameon Pierce. They're not going to just gloss over the idea of getting a guy that's a generational running back to build this team around. And Houston knows what they're doing. This is a whole different regime now. This isn't the sit Deshaun Watson regime. That regime came in and cleaned up that situation and traded Watson away on one of the better deals ever made. This Texans team knows what they're doing. And if he didn't go as high as 12, well, Detroit could look at him. The Chargers at 21 could look at him. And Eckler's 28 years old. Baltimore is being tied to Bijan if he's on the clock at 22. Buffalo would be phenomenal. Cincy would be phenomenal. Philly at 30. But he's going earlier than later. Jamir Gibbs, we'll talk about in a minute, could go to the Eagles at 30, or the Cincinnati Bengals at 28, or the Buffalo Bills at 27. Jamir Gibbs is going to be a menace with one of those squads in 2023. We'll get to that in a minute. But this guy, Bijan, is an absolute phenom. And he's going to be, in my opinion, running back one in all of fantasy football. I don't care if he hasn't taken a snap yet at the NFL level. I don't care if we don't know where he's going. I just mapped out why I believe that part's not a problem. And the reason I don't believe it's a problem ranking him the way I do, as aggressively as I am, without seeing him play at the NFL level, is because he passes my eye test. I don't care if he's not passing other people's eye test. He's passing my eye test. He is going to be the most electric running back to come out of college since Saquon Barkley and Adrian Peterson. Right now, in a dynasty startup, I would draft him number 1, number 2, or even number 3 overall. So clearly he's my rookie 1.1 because he's technically speaking my 1.1 overall. And let me tell you something, we're talking dynasty and future, right? Not necessarily in 2023 redraft. Don't tell anybody, but I'd draft him as early as 5 or 6 overall, maybe 4. Am I going to do that? No. What do I look like, a complete moron? I'm not a total moron. I'm going to use ADP to my advantage because he's going to go at the tail end of round 1, maybe top of round 2 in your grandma leagues before people know what time it is. Take full advantage of getting Bijan and Jamir and any of these running backs in redraft and in dynasty, but specifically redraft as late as you can for as long as you can. Don't get in your own way by trying to be the guy that owns all these guys every time you mock draft, every time you draft. Be smart, use ADP, and take Bijan where you can, take Jamir where you can, and all these other guys that we get to where you can, when you can. Know your ADP, which is essentially the recommended rank when you're drafting. That's going off ADP. Smitty, I don't know ADP. It's right in front of your face. If you're on the clock at number 10 overall and it says Bijan's the 12th ranked player, you know you're going to be able to get to your top of round 2 pick. You don't need to take him in round 1. Be creative, use ADP, be smart, and when you have to reach, when ADP tells you you have to reach, we'll have a different conversation. We'll start recalibrating. And I'll tell you, I'll give you the okay. Take him at number 6 when the time comes, but only when the time comes, Bob. Number 2, Jamir Gibbs. Number 2 is Jamir Gibbs. Why? Because he's
Fire.
This is Alvin Kamara 2.0. And you hear that a lot. And some people like to just, I don't know, rock the boat and say, people tell you he looks like Kamara, but he's not. He doesn't play. Yeah, he does. Stop it. He does. And I know a little something about Kamara. I have a right to compare the next Kamara to the old Kamara because your boy Smitty's on record, I believe, being higher than anybody in the industry on Kamara his rookie year. Putting him on my bold predictions as a top 5 running back, not a top 5 rookie running back. He wasn't even a top 4 or 5 rookie running back. He was ranked around number 7, 8, 9, 10 overall in mock drafts the year he came out of college. People were petrified that he couldn't A, overcome his situation, a crowded backfield, B, overcome his potential problem of being too small at the NFL level. I had him not just in my top 5 rookie running backs, I had him as a future top 5 running back in fantasy football and got laughed at. So I think I get a little leeway when I start throwing around terms like the next Alvin Kamara. This is it, the next Alvin Kamara. He can be a 900 player at the next level. He can be a 1,000-yard receiver if he needs to be. He can be a 1,200-yard rusher if he needs to be. He's a hybrid. Dare I say he's probably better than Alvin Kamara skill set wise. Coming out of college, I think he's further along and better than Alvin Kamara was right here coming out of college and entering the NFL. Will he have a better career than Kamara? I don't know. That's a whole different question. But what I'm saying is, coming out of college, I think Jamir Gibbs is better than the guy I called a top 5 running back of the future, meaning that you might be looking at 2 top 5 running backs of the future from this draft class. Hence why I love this draft class, and I'm calling this draft class at least equal, but probably better than last year's, which gave us Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker, both top 5 running backs. Now, where he goes is a little more complicated than Bijan, because Bijan, like I mapped out earlier, he's going to go earlier on where teams aren't going to gamble on spending draft capital or potential future salary on a running back they may not fully need full time. So guys like Gibbs or everybody below Bijan is going to have a little risk of falling into a cloudy situation. Look at Javonte Williams. But I think he's such a dynamic pass-catching RB that is glaringly the most attractive and most talented pass-catching rusher in the entire draft class that a team like Buffalo at 27, Cincinnati at 28, Philly at 30. One of those teams, I believe, will scoop up Jamir Gibbs if he doesn't go earlier to Baltimore at 22. Jamir Gibbs, to me, could rival Bijan in the right spot. Let's say Bijan went to a good spot. Let's say he went to the Panthers. It's a good spot. They run the ball well, but their offense is a little bit less dynamic right now, right? Than, let's say, a Jamir Gibbs going to the Buffalo Bills, or a Jamir Gibbs, better yet, going to Philly. If Philly takes Bijan at number 10 or Jamir Gibbs at number 30, just march them right to the front of the line. They're reappearing in the Super Bowl in 2023. These Eagle haters are hilarious. Cry, Eagles, cry. Eagles are going to fold. Oh my God, you see the defense? They lost both their offensive and defensive coordinator. They're going to absolutely collapse in 2023, Smitty. They have the number 10 and the number 30 pick, and unless Lane retires or Kelsey retires or there's some kind of wave of retirement with their line or whatever, they're returning almost everybody, and they have the number 10 pick and the number 30 pick, and they're most likely, because Miles Sanders is going bye-bye, they're most likely bringing in one of Bijan or Jamir Gibbs or Zach Charbonnet, who I'm talking about next. The Eagles are going to explode in 2023. Jalen Hurts is going to explode in 2023. Jalen Hurts is about to get $50 million a year on a contract extension. Get ready. It's coming. The Eagles will explode in 2023. And if you're continuing to throw hate and shade on this team and Jalen Hurts and the potential future running back that's about to land there, get ready. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a real long year, pal. Easily my number 2 running back right now. And my next guy is going to potentially give him a run for his money if his landing spot's amazing. I love the top 3 RBs. My top 3 RBs are locked into a list. I'll show you once I'm done with this. But Jamir Gibbs in redraft commands high-end running back 2 value, but probably low-end running back 1 value, in my opinion. Don't draft him too early in redraft. He's going in round 4 or 5, sometimes round 6. Use that to your advantage. Don't listen to me right now and then go ruin his ADP, or go get in your own way and draft him in round 2. Well, Smitty said that Jamir Gibbs can be a running back 1, so I'm going to take him in round 2. You're not listening. Pay attention. Draft him smartly. Don't get in your own way. Use the pre-rank list, which is built off ADP, to your advantage. And if Jamir Gibbs is 12 running backs down and you're on the clock, you won't have to draft him until your next pick. And if you go to your next pick and he's still 8 running backs down, mixing in wide receivers, quarterbacks, and tight ends, that means he's not going until your next pick. You have to use ADP to your advantage. Right now, you can win your league on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, where they'll match up to $100 on your first deposit. This link is in the description. But if you go draft a best ball draft on Underdog Fantasy using promo code Smitty, and you draft Bijan where he's going, where he's falling, where he's being gifted to you in like round 5, you're going to have a great shot at winning your league. This is like getting Walker in rounds 8 and 9 last year when I said, wait on him, don't reach, wait on him. Breece Hall and round, it was 3 by the end of the offseason, but when we were earlier on, it was around 4 or 5. People would get him 4, 5, 6. You can win your league off that value. Take advantage, win a league, go do a best ball draft. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, use the link down below in the description and go win a best ball draft by getting Jamir Gibbs and Bijan and maybe this next guy on the same team as your 3 RBs, one of my favorite approaches in redraft best ball 2023, let alone dynasty. Zach Charbonnet.
Get Charbonnet. Pop open a nice bottle of Charbonnet.
6'1", 220 pounds, UCLA running back that was ranked number 2/number 3 for me last year when we thought he was going to come out of college and declare into the 2022 NFL draft. He returns to college. Breaks my heart. My number 3, almost 2 running back goes back to college. You can't tackle the guy. What does he do? Just when I think he couldn't have been more stupid to go back to college, he comes back and totally redeems himself. And he remains my number 3 overall ranked running back yet again, Zach Charbonnet.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
This guy's an absolute monster. In 2021, he ran for 1,100 yards and 13 touchdowns, pulled in 24 receptions for 197. In 2022, what's he do? Like I said, runs the ball 7 less times, but gets 1359, 7.0 yards per carry, 14 touchdowns, 37 receptions for 321, going back to college, proving he's a better receiver than people thought, and he could be an every down back right out of the gate. More importantly, when you watch footage of this man, and I ask you, I plead to you, go to YouTube, type in Zach Charbonnet, and you will see a man that cannot be tackled. It's like watching Derrick Henry on steroids. First guy, no chance. Second guy and the first guy together, no chance. Maybe they slow him down so the third and fourth guy can pile on top of this guy and finally drive him into the ground. He's the hardest player to tackle that I've seen in probably 15, 20 years. Watching film, I can't even remember a player that was harder to tackle at the college level. He's a Nick Chubb style runner build. It's not like Derrick Henry, big, huge monster, but he's Nick Chubb, a little bigger than Nick Chubb, looks like Nick Chubb. Again, he's 6'1", 220 pounds. So he's a big boy, but he's more of a Nick Chubb build. Runs like Nick Chubb, runs like Barkley. In the right spot, he's a top 10 running back in fantasy football. This is like the Dameon Pierce times 5. And right now you can get him in the undervalued territories of where like Walker was going last year. So if you're in a mock draft right now or a best ball draft, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, getting up to $100 bonus match dollar for dollar on your first deposit. You're in an Underdog Fantasy draft. Don't draft him until he's like rising up in like the 5th or 6th running back left. Take advantage of his what probably is about 7th to 8th to 9th round value, and know that you're getting potentially Kenneth Walker 2022 in this 2023 draft slot. You're getting a guy that could absolutely win you a league. Drafting him now in round 7, 8, 9 when people don't even understand what's going on. That's why drafting best ball on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty is so important early on. That's where you win. When you follow a show like mine, and I'm telling you that Charbonnet is the next Kenneth Walker, which I can say because no one, and I can say this with a straight face because you all know it to be true, nobody was cranking out Breece Hall content or Kenneth Walker content like I was last year. Nobody. Bijan, Jamir, Zach Charbonnet, and the next running back I bring up, no one's cranking out more content on these 4 rookie RBs, and this guy's going to win so many people leagues. I cannot wait. Landing spot's going to be important, but I believe his combine, his workouts, his pro days are going to make him look so amazing and so intriguing to NFL teams and scouts. He's going to find an amazing home. Get your popcorn ready, young man. My number 4 rookie running back for 2023. No, this is not his father. I know this man looks about 45 years old. This is Sean Tucker out of Syracuse. This 5'10", 205-pound tank of a man. Yeah, a little bit short looking, a little bit smaller looking. He's not. He's 205 pounds. He's 5'10". He's built like a truck. This guy is so exciting. And I know I've been pumped about 4 straight running backs now. And I know you're like, well, this guy just loves every running back known to man. Yeah, but think about it from this perspective. I'm not high on guys like I'm sorry I'm giving this away, but like Zach Evans. I'm not high on really anybody else to the degree we're talking about these 4 guys. It's about picking the right players. Evans, I don't love. If Blake Corum was coming out, I wouldn't like Blake Corum. I would tell you to avoid him. I don't just love every running back. I love the right running backs. I love these 4 running backs. I like Tank Bigsby. We're going to talk about Spears and a few other names, but I'm going to tell you right now, ruining the video, the cutoff is huge. This is where the tier break is. I mean, Bijan's in his own tier with Jamir Gibbs and Charbonnet able to climb up and have cups of coffee in that tier. And if the landing spots are phenomenal, those guys could climb permanently into tier 1. But Sean Tucker is at that tier break. This is an elite running back in Cincy. This is an elite running back in Buffalo. This is an elite running back in Philly. In 2021, 1496, 12 touchdowns, pulled in 20 balls for 255 and 2 receiving touchdowns. He can catch. He can catch like a madman. I don't care if these numbers aren't like out of this world. Holding in 20 and 36 passes in back-to-back seasons means that he could be a 55, 65, 70 reception running back at the next level. Not to mention, I don't care about what the numbers really say. I care about my eyeballs. What did I tell everybody when they said Kenneth Walker's not going to catch footballs at the next level, Smitty? I said, don't listen to people that don't know what time it is, because Kenneth Walker, like Zeke Elliott, was misunderstood because he wasn't used properly in the receiving game. If you used your eyeballs and you understood that Walker had the skill set of the best receiving back you could come across, he just wasn't throwing the football. His open space awareness, his ability to gravitate to open planes and make things happen. Walker, like I said last year, could develop into one of the best receiving backs, if not the best receiving back in the National Football League. Sean Tucker is quick. He may not have top end speed, but he doesn't need it. He's quick on the field. He's shifty. He can break off a run to the point where no one's really going to catch him, even though he's not considered a burner, but he can get quicker. He's strong. He's a little tank. And I firmly believe he's a 1,500 total yard player with a 10, 12 TD potential in the right spot right away. His combine in pro day and workouts will certainly help vault his value, but where he goes will be critical. If he lands in a crowded environment, it's going to be a bummer. That's why he kind of has the potential to be like on the verge of the tier break. But if he goes to Philadelphia, Buffalo, Cincinnati as the starting running back of the future for that team and an offense like that, then we got ourselves a little problem here, because we're going to have to try and fit him up a lot higher than number 4. Now, maybe I sold Kendra Miller a little short earlier when I said the tier break was here. I spoke a little too soon, because Kendra Miller's on the verge of that tier and breaking into the Sean Tucker tier, to be honest with you. The more I watch on Kendra, the more I feel like I'm missing the boat when I'm ranking Kendra. And I certainly did in January when I initially put my rookie rankings onto thefantasyfootballshow.com, which has year-round fantasy football rankings. There's no draft kit at thefantasyfootballshow.com. It's year-round, 365, 24/7 trade calculators. I invented the trade calculator, to my knowledge. I've searched the ends of the earth for it. It's why I got into the business to begin with. I created the trade calculator at thefantasyfootballshow.com in 2003. That's when I got into the business, because no one had a trade calculator. I was tired of not knowing how to evaluate a trade properly. A 3-for-1 trade, a 2-for-1 trade, a 2-for-2 trade, a 5-for-2 trade, a 5-for-1 trade. I wanted to know these things in Dynasty and Redraft, and no one had it. So I said, you know what? Time for me to step into the business. And that's how your boy Smitty got started. But go over to thefantasyfootballshow.com where all the rookies are included. I got rookie only rankings, the rookies mixed into the redraft, the top 200, the dynasty rankings, the dynasty top 200, and my very special, very famous, very popular super rookie rankings, which are only the rookies and sophomores together as one set of rankings to help retool your mind for the future and for dynasty. And my whole point in even going in that direction was to shamelessly plug thefantasyfootballshow.com, your year-round information, one-on-one text advice as well, year-round. It's all year-round. You can text me right now. Year-round. But the reason I brought it up is that I initially did my rookie review. I do that in January. I watch football all year. I obviously know who I like, but I do a 10 to 12 hour film session, 12 hours in a row watching film. And then I do it again, which I did last night. I'm on 4 hours of sleep. No, maybe 3 hours of sleep, actually. But I crammed in 12 hours straight watching film on all the wide receivers, and I'm starting to do it on the running backs again. And watching Kendra Miller, I was like, this is one of those moments where I'm like, I really felt like I overlooked him in January and all year. And I liked him. I know what he brings to the table, but sometimes you got to rewatch something. That's why I do 2 film sessions, baby, because you got to rewatch it. You got to look for stuff you might miss. And Kendra Miller's a dog. He's a dog in the right spot. Like, maybe it's because he's wearing that Baltimore Raven purple, but I can picture him going somewhere like Baltimore, or I can picture him going somewhere where he's the lead dog. And he's Marshawn Lynch. Like he really could be Marshawn Lynch good. I'm not even joking, but the only problem with Kendra Miller would be the perception, the draft capital. Will it be there? Will he be drafted into a starting role? Or will he be drafted into a cloudy situation because his draft value is lower? The higher your draft value, the more likely a team won't mess around taking you unless they need you very badly to be the starter. That's why running backs are so risky nowadays. Outside of Bijan Robinson, every RB getting taken at the top of round 2 and beyond runs the risk of falling into a cloudy situation, because teams may take you when they don't fully need you because you're so cheap and cost effective in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round versus the 1st round. So Kendra Miller could wind up in a really bad spot because his perceived value, the draft capital, everybody scouting him isn't putting him and pegging him very high. So there is a risk that he doesn't fall into a good spot. But if he does, like with Sean Tucker, we have a problem. We have a big problem, because now we got to pull Kendra Miller into a really high ranking. And I don't have room. I've got Bijan, Jamir, and Charbonnet, and they probably aren't going anywhere. We've got a problem. We got a big problem. This is my top 5. Clear top 5. And for Kendra Miller stats, let's drop those real quick. I mean, look at these numbers. In 2022, 1399, 6.2 a pop, 17 touchdowns, 116 receiving yards. I mean, this is only real big season, but he looked like a monster. The biggest thing that I take away from Kendra is the eye test. I mean, the stats are there. The draft value and the perception of where he's going to go, and is he a number 1 running back? That part is the part that we've got to wait for, right? But eye test looks phenomenal, runs and acts like Marshawn Lynch. My number 6 would probably be Tank Bigsby. My number 7 would probably be Spears. Spears is so fast, so quick. Bigsby reminds me of, I don't know what running back I can compare Tank Bigsby to. He's kind of got his own little vibe going. But he's very talented. I mean, he had a nice season. He had 970 yards and 10 TDs, and then he pulled in 180 yards receiving. He had 1,000 yards the year prior, 10 TDs again. He's a very, very good running back. In the right spot, he'd be good, but I can't rank him above these guys right here. He's clearly outside my top 6, and he's in a value territory that may or may not be looked at as a starting running back. And if he does, then we can throw him into this upper bucket right here. Spears, same thing. Will he be drafted to start? I don't know. These two guys, I'm questioning whether they're drafted to start. If they are, they go in this bucket over here. For now, they go in the side bucket here. McIntosh, I like him a lot. I think most people have A-Chain in the top 4 or 5 RBs, but when I watch A-Chain, I don't feel that special vibe that other people are describing. I just don't. I could be wrong, and I'll eat my words later. I'll take a lap if I'm wrong. But I just don't feel it with A-Chain. I don't see something special. I see what I saw in Spiller last year when everybody thought that this Spiller guy going to the Chargers, he's going to be amazing. He was at the bottom of every category at the combine. He was slow. I didn't see it. A-Chain, I don't feel the vibe. I don't think he's as fast as some of these other guys or has the skill set that these other guys have. I just don't feel it. Maybe his draft capital changes my mind because if a team drafts him to start, he's going to be here. He's not getting above any of these top 4 guys. Or if Kendra goes to a great spot and Sean Tucker doesn't, then A-Chain's below my top 4. I can't envision A-Chain being in my top 5 ever, but landing spot will certainly pull him out of the mid of this bucket into maybe the bottom of this one. Who knows? Kenny McIntosh, I like him a lot. Very, very good running back. Dwayne McBride, I like him. McIntosh reminds me a lot of McKinnon in Kansas City. I could see McIntosh not being a starter at all, though, and then rising up eventually, maybe. But it's unfortunate. I like him a lot, but I don't know that he's going to be drafted to start. He's going to have to climb his way into a situation. McBride, same thing. I like him, but he's not going to be drafted to start, I don't think. These are my rookie running backs. My top 4, and then this wild card, Kendra Miller, that I've been ignoring, admittedly. And I love these guys. These top 5 guys are good. Tank Bigsby. You know what? Let's pull Bigsby over. I feel like it's disrespectful to have him in that bucket. I do feel like he belongs over here, but we do need to see where he lands. That's my rookie running backs. The link to my rookie wide receiver video is below. I appreciate you all. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com and get your year-round rankings, bold predictions, trade calculators, one-on-one text device, everything you need to dominate year-round, dynasty, redraft, one-on-one text device. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. And again, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. They'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. Go play best ball with the rookies included and draft these guys on a team that is going to see the value now. And you're going to look back and go, remember when I got Jamir Gibbs in round 5 or 4? Remember when I got Zach Charbonnet in 7 and Sean Tucker in round 12? And you're looking at your best ball team going, this one's going to turn out pretty well. Go do it now. Now get out of here. Oh, wait, hold on. Remember, I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm live whenever news breaks, and I'm live Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight Eastern, doing drafts, doing whatever. Now, get out of here.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.